if you would, to listen to some inspiring music by none other than Carol and the Goodfellows.
We'd like to welcome everyone here today. Happy Palm Sunday. And this is not exactly a Palm Sunday song, but it's a good song anyway, and I'm sure you're going to recognize it. So it goes with the sermon. It absolutely does. So here we go.
To accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative and act on the affirmative and don't mess with Mr. In Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum and bring bloom down to the minimum and have faith, the pandemonium liable to walk upon the scene.
To illustrate the last remark, John in the well, no in the arm. What did they do? Just when everything looks
It was
dark.
getting dark. They said you gotta accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Yeah.
Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy to the maximum and bring gloom down to the minimum and have faith, the pandemonium liable to walk upon the scene.
To illustrate my last remark, John in the well, no in the ark. What did they do?
What did they do?
Just when everything looks so dark.
They said you gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, no, no. Don't mess with Mr. In Between.
I dare say that you could go on the road. You are doing a remarkable job. Thank you. This morning, we're honored to have our own First Lady of the Church bring to you a beautiful and inspiring talk entitled, Attitude is Everything. Reverend Karmene.
That was remarkable, that song. Wow. I saw a lot of people's feet moving. There's an inspirational story about a teacher who was teaching math to 6-year-olds. And the teacher asked one of her students, Adi, this question. If I give you 2 mangoes and another 2 mangoes, how many mangoes will you have? And he answered, 5 mangoes. Well, she was surprised by this answer, so she tried again. But this time, she used her fingers to help prompt him, to help get him to kind of work with her. So she said, if I give you two mangoes and 2 more mangoes, how many mangoes will you have? And the little boy said, 5 mangoes. Well, she was getting a little bit upset with this, but then she remembered. His mother told her that he liked strawberries. So she's going to use the strawberries. So she asked Dee, okay, Dee, now if I give you 2 strawberries and then 2 more strawberries, how many strawberries will you have? Well, teacher, 4 strawberries. She was relieved. Now he's on track. He's gotten it. So she asked him again, okay, so Eddie, if I give you 2 mangoes and 2 more mangoes, how many mangoes will you have? Teacher, 5 mangoes. Well, she was getting a little bit angry now, and she said, how on earth can you have 5 mangoes when I'm giving you 4 mangoes? And the little boy says, well, teacher, I have 1 mango in my bag. So what's the moral of the story? There are always 2 ways to look at a story, right? At least, yes. So jumping to conclusions before we fully understand the reasons that some things are said or done, and actually can be harmful to both people, right? Because there's not that understanding. So sometimes we make decisions based on what is logical and not necessarily on what is practical or what the truth is. Interesting. Gerald Jampolsky, a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, an author, an inspirational speaker, wrote these words, and I quote, "Attitude will determine how we experience every aspect of our life." End of quote. And it's true that attitude may appear to be a little thing, yet truly it makes a big difference in our lives. We may not always be able to control what's going on around us, yet we can control the attitude and how we choose to deal with things. Viktor Frankl, an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, Holocaust survivor, an author, once said, and I quote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." End of quote. I invite you to think about the idea that our attitude or our mindset is the entrance or gateway to the world that we see. When we keep our minds open and receptive to all the avenues of divine direction, insights will come to us, and we can trust our divine guidance is showing us the way. Yes? Yes. We believe here at the temple, as it is believed in other spiritual practices, that how we choose to see the world truly determines our experience of it. Unity teaches thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Science of mind teaches that, 1, it is done as you believe. 2, like attracts like, and we attract just what we are in mind. And 3, life externalizes at the level of our thought. As we learn to take a kinder view of ourselves, of our beliefs and our behaviors, wouldn't you agree with me that it becomes easier to be able to see the same in others? We can then see their light a lot easier. Each of us, as we walk this spiritual path, reach new levels of awarenesses at different stages. Yet no matter what level we are at, we are invited to always believe in who we are and trust the path that is before us. Trusting the people in our lives and the conditions or situations that show up in our lives are all part of the divine plan that we are invited to embrace. We are also called to persevere in that which is for our highest and best good of who we are, even if we don't feel like moving forward. And I'm sure many of us have had that experience where you just don't want to do anything. And that's okay. But you know, nature will always make sure that we are moving forward so that we may evolve. And say that again. Nature will always make sure that we are moving forward so that we may evolve. And isn't that nice? We have the universe on our side. Yes. I remember as a young child thinking about situations that were difficult. And I somehow figured out that those seeming challenges were there to help me grow, to teach me something, and that somehow I would understand down the road why those situations were happening in my life. I had to trust as I grew and gained more awareness and wisdom that the understandings would be revealed to me. And they were. That thinking, in turn, helped me to keep a better attitude about those times that were very trying, especially emotionally. And I somehow trained myself as a young child to just look for the good in everything. And as a result, have continued to do that throughout life. And perhaps many of you as well have had that experience. When we shift our thinking, when we heal our thoughts and minds, when we create more of a positive attitude, as was just shared in our wonderful song, Accentuate the Positive, we all know that an optimistic way of thinking causes an outcome of an extraordinary and encouraging thoughts. It also serves as an incentive that can truly create delightful and amazing results in our lives as we shift our thinking. Life is a lot smoother, more joyful, more peaceful. And we may even have increased energy and enthusiasm, perhaps inspiration and creativity as we make those shifts in consciousness. There's a saying that states, and I quote, "Do what you love and love what you do." We are all invited to live life in the way that honors our full divine potential. Are we not? Yes. It's our God-given right to do so. Each of us was born into a divine inheritance of living in truth, integrity, kindness, honesty, dignity, self-worth, happiness, love. So I invite you to own that fully and make that your reality, even if you haven't done so lately, on your spiritual path. And so, our attitude will determine our direction. I read about a Canadian champion ice skater, Scott Hamilton, who once said, and I quote, "The only disability in life is a bad attitude." It's been said that a poor attitude can literally block love, blessings, and destiny from finding us. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. Les Brown, an influential African-American motivational speaker, once said that, and I quote, "If you take responsibility for yourself, you will develop a hunger to accomplish your dreams." End of quote. And just as Scott Hamilton, who passionately embraced his talent, became a world-renowned professional Olympic ice skater. And I'm sure many of you have witnessed him on the ice. When we control our thoughts and maintain a positive mindset, nothing can stand in our way from helping us to achieve that which we put our minds to. Now, being grateful is an attitude we can welcome at any time, right? And I'm sure we all do that in our lives. We hear in the Bible to give thanks in all circumstances. Simple yet powerful words to live by. Having an attitude of gratitude is one of the most valuable, even essential gifts that we give ourselves. It's also conceivably one of the greatest life-changing gifts we bless ourselves with. Whether we're being happy, peaceful, healthy, fortunate, empowered, expressive, or even the opposite of all of those, it's up to each of us to pick the attitude or attitudes we want to cultivate and nurture every single day. In Philippians, we are reminded of these words, and I quote, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is any worthy of praise, think about these things." When I think about the encouraging words that I received growing up, I think about the years that I spent in the Girl Guide movement. It provided many opportunities to practice developing good habits to live by, to be kind, to be helpful, thoughtful, patient, caring, loving. And just as in the Bible, again, there are encouraging words there that remind us to be kind to one another, tender-hearted, and forgiving one another. As we consider how we treat others in our life, the words of Eva Bell Werber in Quiet Talks with the Master invite us to, and I quote this passage, "Try for a time to see no personalities. Look only to the divine in all your contact." Know that what the human personality does or does not concerns the true being of your soul not at all. Look only to the reality living at the heart center of each, and then shall your activities for that one be right. All your thoughts shall be right thoughts, and sending out such, they shall return in a like manner to you. Look only on the God within them, and you will never make a mistake in judgment or in dealing with anyone. End of quote. If we want to live a much more peaceful, contented, happy life, it's true that so much depends on our attitude. And we know that any time that we affirm to ourselves that we can't, guess what? Our mind will accept it. Yet if we can say that we can, our mind will accept that and continue searching for ways to make life mirror that reality. And we know this. we've heard the quote that says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." And what a great reminder during this time of Lent as we move into the Easter time to see this as a time of renewal for each of us. Remember that what we allow in our thinking is what will continue. Buddha said, and I quote, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." And then Albert Einstein was quoted for saying, "Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value." Mary Angelou coined this phrase that says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Isn't that the truth? Yeah. When we want to raise ourselves up, be inspired to raise someone else up. Can you identify with that? I saw a similar saying on a wall driving down Fifth Avenue just yesterday or the day before that had that phrase on there. Wow, how powerful. What a nice reminder to see that out in the world for eyes to see and to be reminded of. When we speak about having mindful attitudes, as the Buddhist tradition teaches us, they can include things like being non-judgmental, having patience, embracing a beginner's mind, being trusting, practicing acceptance, letting go of the need to control, and being generous in thoughts, words, and actions. An American novelist, Edith Wharton, once wrote, "There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or be the mirror that reflects it." In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works. Which is taken from Matthew. You know, each time we smile, did you know that that was spontaneous therapy? And so is laughing, isn't it? They're both a universal language that we all share. So I'm going to invite you right now, all of you, close your eyes. Okay? Just close your eyes and just kind of be with this experience. Okay? And just gently breathe in. And visualize, if you would, a baby before you. And all of a sudden, he or she begins to laugh. You can open your eyes. Perhaps you've heard the saying, smile, it increases your face value. So even behind the masks, they know when we're smiling. What a wonderful attitude to have. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." So it's up to each of us to choose wisely. I heard it say that God, the universe, is always more interested in why we do something than in what we do. And attitudes count more than achievements. As light workers, we have all been called in for a higher purpose, to help raise the vibration of love, peace, and healing in the world. And what a wonderful opportunity we all have to do that. And just as in the Course in Miracles, we had the retreat yesterday, the Course teaches that there is only love being expressed or a call for love. What a wonderful way to look at life in this way. Remember, how we choose to see the world determines our experience of it. Our attitude is everything. We have an opportunity in every moment to bless this life, the people and the situations in our life, and to see the blessings everywhere. As I bring this talk to a close, I invite you to consider these thoughts of Mother Teresa, who shares about the choices that we make with our attitudes. And I quote, "People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. What you spend years creating, others would destroy overnight. Create anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway." Amen. Amen. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Carmen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, once again, we're going to be inspired by a very beautiful piece of music. And I would like just to thank our musicians for the work that they do here in this ministry. It's a beautiful work. Now, any children today? Okay. Remember, Andrew Guilfoyle is here and his wonderful staff to support children. So if you know of children, either your own, grandchildren, or whatever, please let them know that this program is being offered here each Sunday, and we welcome them. I would like to share with you, because it really is germane to the same message that Reverend Carmen shared with you today. And it is a real story taken from a second helping of chicken soup. This is written by a superintendent of schools in Palo Alto, California. And the story unfolds as follows. The president of the Board of Trustees wrote a letter that was printed in the Palo Alto Times. Polly's son Jim had great difficulty in school. He was classified as an educationally handicapped individual and required a great deal of patience on the part of his parents and his teachers. But Jim was a happy kid with a great smile that lit up the room. His parents acknowledged that his academic difficulties existed and they worked with it, but always tried to help him to see his strengths so that he could walk with pride. Shortly after Jim finished high school, he was killed in a motorcycle accident. After his death, his mother submitted the following letter to the newspaper, quote, "Today we buried our 20-year-old son. He was killed instantly in a motorcycle accident on Friday night. How I wish I had known when I talked to him that it would be the last time. If I had only known, I would have said to him one more time, Jim, I love you, and I am so very proud of you. I would have taken the time to count the many blessings that he brought into the lives of our family and the many who knew him and loved him. I would have taken him to those special places that he always found such joy in visiting. But so often, I was so busy and couldn't find the time to do it. When you put all of the good attributes to the scale and you try to balance all the irritating traits, such as the radio, which was always too darn loud, the haircut that wasn't to our liking, the dirty socks that fell under the bed and strewn around his room and left a somewhat unwelcoming odor. The irritation doesn't really amount to much. I won't get another chance to tell my son all I would have wanted him to hear. But other parents, you do have a chance. Tell your young people what you would like them to hear. If you really thought it would be your last conversation with them. The last time I talked to Jim was the day that he died. He called me at work to say, "Hi, Mom. I just called to say, I love you. I'm going to leave now. I've got to go to work. Have a good day." He gave me something I will treasure forever. If there is a purpose at all in Jim's death, may it be that when others appreciate one another and the moment of life that is unique to them in their children and in their family and friends, let each other know how you feel from the depth of your being and say, when it is appropriate to say, I love you. I would like now to invite the ushers to come forward as Carol and the Goodfellows prepare to sing our closing song. Will the ushers please come forward? As you take this out at this particular time into the members of this ministry, we give thanks for the gifts and the grace of those gifts that bless and honor these gifts. And once the ushers have received your offering, will you return kindly to the platform? Thank you. Carmen.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart and open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, you and I. It's in every one of us. Don't you agree? When you find your heart, you awaken your eyes to see. When we all plant truth, love's the answer to why and how. It's in every one of us, here and now. It's in every one of us. I just remembered, it's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing is better. I can see through the tears. I've been realizing that I bought this ticket for watching only half of the show. There are scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who all know what I know, and it's good that it's so. Love's in every one of us. Let your spirit glow. Love is light and changes the world, you know. Take it now, with you now as you grow, and help each one to know their worth. Let your heart shine inside out and change the earth. God's in every one of us. Show you care. Change the world that we all must share. For God's love is here in us now, and she loves us all the same. God's in every one of us. Praise her name. God's in every one of us. Praise her name. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a really wonderful afternoon. Thank you for being here.